Hector Song and I are a hate-bound couple. He has his the one that got away etched in his heart, while I have my boy toy on the side. That day, after our usual business, we headed to our respective rooms to shower, strangers as ever. But suddenly, I saw a flood of bullet comments. This hate-bound dynamic is so satisfying. Don't you dare fall for each other. Hate-bound couples thrive on pure loathing. Healthy relationships are fine, but twisted ones are downright thrilling. As I collapsed onto the bed, aching all over, Hector suppressed a soft pant, grabbing a tissue to wipe the sweat from his temple. He pulled on his sleep pants and turned to leave. Shirtless, I stared at his bare back, covered in scratches, and his utterly unruffled demeanor, summoning what little strength I had left. I hurled a photo frame at him, sneering viciously. I taunted, "Your performance is still as pathetic as ever." Hector glanced at the frame, our hastily taken wedding photo, a mere formality. A mocking smirk tugged at his lips, his voice still husky from our encounter. "Performance that bad? Next time I should record you when you're completely dazed. Let's see who else could reduce you to such a state." I suppressed my anger, got out of bed, and went to the bedroom to shower. His words were truly unpleasant, yet before all this, he was the untouchable from humble beginnings, incapable of uttering a single vulgar word, and I was still the heiress of the Jiang family. As the pampered socialite surrounded by admirers, he looked down on me. I once overheard his scornful remark behind my back. A sacrificial lamb groomed by wealth, a mere tool for marriage alliances. Who's really nobler than whom? I naturally wouldn't stoop to argue with him, but how could I ignore it when the person I liked was pursuing the same girl he adored? Was he even worthy? Coincidentally, one of his lackeys was anxious about failing to secure a poverty subsidy. With a subtle maneuver from me, he was edged out of the selection. On the day I drove off triumphantly, my car sped past him, splashing a huge wave of muddy water that drenched him completely. The rainy road was filthy, leaving him in a wretched, humiliating state. Behind the car window, my face was radiant with a smug smile. "If you want money, beg me for it." Swallowing his pride, he knelt before me. With a chilling glare, he spoke word by word. "Eris, my clothes are soaked. May I come to your place to shower?" Hector Song was truly naive. I stripped off his wet clothes, bound his wrists with a dog leash, watching him struggle to maintain composure. "Even if I'm merely a pawn for marriage alliance, you're nothing but my dog. Who's really playing with whom?" I broke his pride completely. Later, fortunes shifted. My family went bankrupt, and he married me. He, in turn, crushed all my defiance. We evolved into what could only be called a hate-bound couple. Pity, really. That version of Hector Song, who still needed my training, was genuinely entertaining. As I rinsed my flushed skin, a sudden dizziness overwhelmed me. When my eyes reopened, a row of glowing words hovered before me. "Now, this is pure hatred done right. You two better not fall in love." Watching them go at it still gets me hopping with excitement every time. One provokes with wild taunts, the other fiercely proves a point. When will the censorship pixels vanish? A hate-bound couple fueled purely by spite. While healthy relationships matter, twisted ones are utterly thrilling. What, not even allowed to see each other bathing? Can't we witness the battlefield aftermath? What aftermath? Such foul language. What's with these words? They read like bullet comments from a drama stream. I think it's not my focus that's blurry. It's my sanity that's gone. Hector Song's the one that got away. Luna Gu had returned. I watched the video my best friend sent me. At a charity gala, Luna Gu clung to Hector Song's arm. Their evening wear intertwined. A dazzling pair, almost too perfect to behold. I scoffed softly. I swiftly contacted my stylist, slipping into a champagne-hued strapless gown with a light shawl. Leo Lu stood behind me, his arms encircling my waist. His warm breath grazed the nape of my neck. "Sister," seeing someone else standing by his side, "are you jealous?" Hilarious. As if the heiress Iris Jiang could ever be jealous. She's just furious that Hector Song agreed to help revive her family's business, but didn't take her to the banquet. These comments really get me. But why should I follow the script they've written for me? I curl my lips into a smirk. Of course, I'm seething with jealousy. So, I think it's time I do something about it. Iris Jiang jealous? Am I seeing a knockoff version? Who cares if she's jealous or not? She's definitely brewing some mischief. That fierce yet smiling expression is so satisfying. Leo Lu is about to lose it too. The little wolf dog has his appeal, but just two. From the mirror, I see Leo raising his brows, pulling down my shawl, and lightly sniffing my shoulder. Sister, I'm also burning with jealousy. Why can't you belong only to me? A sharp pain shoots through my shoulder. Leo leaves a deep hickey on me. Are you insane? I hate it most when people leave marks on me. He can do it, but I can't. I adjust my shawl back into place. What he could endure. Can you? For instance, I once made him serve me like a dog, and his poverty subsidy was meant to save his grandmother's life. Brother Julian. I ran toward Julian Gu with a beaming smile. You're here. Come over. His tone was cold, just in need of a female companion. Hearing his commanding words, I frowned slightly, but still, I linked arms with Julian Gu, laughing joyfully. He tidied a strand of my hair. So happy. It seems married life suits you well. After my family went bankrupt, I fell into the muddy ground on a rainy day. Hector Song stood over me with an umbrella, looking down condescendingly. Marry me, and I can save you. Of course, I wouldn't give up a life of luxury, even though, he said, he'd make my life miserable after marriage. With my personality, why would I be afraid? Of course not. I forced the words through gritted teeth. Not far away, Hector Song and Luna Gu were looking in our direction. Their expressions varied. Oh, by the way, the one I like is Julian Gu. Julian Gu and Luna Gu were caught in a love-hate relationship. He loved her. She loved him. He loved her. What a god-tier love triangle. So intense. The tension in their eyes felt like they were about to go at it any second. Though the previous comment isn't wrong, the wording is a bit crude. Hector Song walked over. What brings you here? I tilted my head. Of course, I came to see Julian. Even though Ingshi is already married, she still shares such a close bond with her brother. It's truly enviable. Luna Gu smiled insincerely. That's right, our relationship is as strong as ever. I gently rested my head on Julian Gu's shoulder. Hector Song's icy gaze fell upon my skin. Julian, let's go over there. I took his hand and, under Hector Song's watchful eyes, gracefully walked away. The business banquet was filled with numerous elites. Despite the heavy blow to the Jiang family, I appeared here unscathed, and I was happily chatting with both my husband and my childhood sweetheart. With strong backing, life is easy, as I once again accepted a business card while holding onto Julian Gu's arm. Hector Song appeared. He gripped my wrist and pulled me into his embrace. Iris, aren't you tired? His gaze held laughter, yet his eyes were damp and cold. Not at all. You're hurting her. Julian Gu grasped my wrist. Is that so? Hector kneaded my waist. Wouldn't I know if she's in pain? The hand and my wasted ache. I'd bumped against the table edge during last night's activities. I struggled slightly, and my shawl slipped off. Hector's eyes turned icy instantly, his sinister gaze devouring my shoulders. Julian's expression darkened. Both had seen the love bite. I looked at Hector with a vague smile. Let go. It hurts. You really have no sense of restraint. In the lounge, I sat before the dressing mirror. I hadn't turned on the lights. As the bedroom door closed, leather shoes clicked closer. Soon, a man in a tailored suit stood behind me, noble yet gloomy, his gaze coiled around me like a serpent. Hector Song's face was truly captivating. His hand gently pulled down my shawl, slowly sliding up to my shoulder. Then it moved to my neck, hovering there with a phantom grip. I reapplied my lipstick. The face in the mirror was bewitchingly beautiful. Killing your wife is illegal, darling. Hector Song pulled me up and pressed me against the dressing table mirror. My hands braced against the table as he restrained me. Say it again, darling. Hector actually hated it most when I called him that, because back when I humiliated him, it was under the spell of those sweet darlings that he crumbled and surrendered. Do you act this wanton in front of him too? He suddenly bit my shoulder. It hurt. Get lost. I broke free and slapped him hard across the face. My ring left a faint scratch on his perfect cheek. He wiped the bloodstains and tightened his grip around my neck, applying pressure. The skirt of the evening gown was torn to shreds. Iris Jiang, afraid I won't finish you off. Here we go again. Here we go again. The love-hate drama is back. We netizens are truly blessed. So thrilling. A deranged, forced romance. Though there's no love between them. Hector Song's possessiveness is intense. Anyone who dares lay a finger on Iris Jiang will face his retribution tenfold on her. Gotta say, Iris Jiang is both wicked and beautiful. Pissing off Hector Song means she's in for it. This girl really knows how to play the game. I sank my teeth hard into Hector Song's collarbone. The metallic taste of blood seeped into my mouth as his damp fingers roughly brushed the wet hair at my temple. What, are you part dog? I spat at him. I'm going to bite you to death. Hector Song smirked maliciously, his hand still clamped around my waist, squeezing until it hurt. He tilted his chin up, his Adam's apple bobbing, the sharp line of his jaw flowing into his neck. Why don't you bite here instead? Not that I wouldn't want to, but I'd rather not end up in jail. Not biting? Fine. Hector Song was truly acting like a madman. Hector, are you there? It's Luna Gu. Hector Song froze. After a moment, he left me perched on the vanity and went to open the door himself. I noticed you hadn't returned for so long. Is everything all right? No. Hector Song subtly concealed his bleeding collarbone. Just a bit tired. Resting for a while. I stared at my torn skirt. Resting? I straightened my clothes with an expressionless face. Seems he really does like Luna Gu. He didn't want her to see him being intimate with me at all. Luna, what brings you here? Hector and I were resting for a bit. It was quite tiring. I put on a smile and peeked out from behind Hector Song. You're here too. Luna Gu's gaze naturally fell on my disheveled dress. Her expression faltered slightly, a flicker of embarrassment crossing her face. Before I dragged Hector Song down from his pedestal, he and Luna Gu were well, matched rivals and partners. He saw Luna as the one that got away, a companion who offered mutual warmth on their shared path. But all this vanished like mist when he climbed into my bed. Luna had once earnestly urged Hector to leave me, yet with a mere curl of my toes, he'd kiss every inch of my body. During his calls with Luna, only faint static and Hector's trembling breaths could be heard. Humiliated before his idealized love, the untouchable was broken in that moment. I laughed without a shred of shame, swaying with Hector's arm linked in mine. His loosely fastened collar slipped open, revealing that love bite. Hector stared at me, subtly positioning himself as a shield. Must have been seething. Who could resist that delicate nose? Wrinkling smirk, sweet yet seductive, utterly adorable. Our Hector Song isn't exactly a saint either. The moment the heiress crooked her finger, he dropped to his knees. Serves you right for failing to romance the female lead. Guess you're destined for a love-hate relationship with the heiress in this lifetime. Iris Jiang probably still doesn't realize that her willful behavior wasn't the sole reason Hector became involved with her. Her father, wanting to ensure her compliance with the arranged marriage, had deliberately tasked Hector with seducing her only to brutally dump her later, making her develop complete aversion to free romance. TCH, so much for being the untouchable. This mutually destructive marriage is just too delicious to watch. What? Daddy, I can hardly believe my eyes. Though I've always prided myself on being willful and arrogant. No angel by any means. I've remained Daddy's precious darling all along. My mother passed away early, so Daddy has always spoiled me rotten since childhood. He'd indulge my every whim. Even if I asked for the moon, he'd move heaven and earth to get it for me. The only exception was when he arranged my marriage. After my massive tantrum and that wild night with Hector Song, he never brought it up again. So it was all an elaborate scheme. But he's the daddy I love most in this world. I sniffled, tears glistening in my eyes. Even though Hector Song is already married, Luna, who had a crush on him back then, and truth be told, she still hasn't quite gotten over it completely. Why does Iris Jiang seem so fragile? Could she really be jealous of Hector and Luna? Oh no, I can't let them think that. It would ruin my image. Hector's song glanced sideways. What's wrong? I put on a smile again. Honey, it hurts. Where does it hurt? I buried my face sheepishly in Hector's chest. Honey, you tell me, don't you know what you just did? Hee hee. Hector's song looked somewhat uncomfortable, and Luna Goose seemed even more upset. When I returned home that evening, I took a shower. Coincidentally, my newly customized darts were lying on the table. Unfortunately, my luck was poor. I didn't hit a single bullseye. I even accidentally shattered the framed photo of me and my dad hanging nearby. Although this is Hector Song's villa, I was the one who insisted on hanging it up back then. My family's business was reported by a competitor for operating in a gray area, which led to my father being imprisoned, though I haven't identified the person behind it yet. Hector Song's involvement is undeniable. Despite my father's betrayal, he remains my father after all. Now that photo is destroyed, while the wedding portrait beside it remains perfectly intact. In the wedding photo, Hector Song and I stood side by side, our crimson traditional wedding attire excessively bright, yet our eyes held no desire for each other, only endless indifference. I couldn't resist throwing a dart at it. The wedding portrait shattered too. Cracks exploded across the red wedding garments, twisting and spreading until they barely halted beside our two strikingly beautiful faces. I ran my fingertip over the dart's sharp tip and smiled in satisfaction. What madness is this? Hector's Song stood behind me. He had just showered, his dark loungewear buttoned from the third button down, revealing an alluring neck and chest. He stared at the two shattered photos, a trace of emotion in his gaze. Hector's Song gripped my jaw and forced me onto the sofa, while I instinctively pressed a dart against his Adam's apple. The newly customized dart was exquisitely ornate, its sharp tip gleaming with a cold silver light as it pressed against Hector's prominent Adam's apple. He lowered his head and leaned closer to me. I stood my ground, the dart's point firmly pressed against his neck, leaving a faint bloodstain on his pale skin. The dim, lighting fragmented Hector's face into shadows, his lips brushing my ear as he exhaled a warm breath. I shivered involuntarily. He often leaned in like this to whisper obscenities in my ear. Suddenly, he tightened his grip on my jaw and forced it upward. Such a beautiful face, yet so cruel at heart. His tone was gentle. With my father already imprisoned, why should I care about anything else? If I find out who ruined him, I'll repay them tenfold. I stared at Hector as he simply plucked the dart from my hand and tossed it to the floor. No playing with toys in the living room. Be good. Changing the subject. Definitely a guilty conscience. There's a doting tone, like coaxing a misbehaving child. Although, in the original story, Hector Song was indeed the one who bankrupted the Jiang family. This time, the bankruptcy seems to have happened much earlier. Exactly. And this time, it's really unclear how the bankruptcy occurred. The original story only briefly mentioned the female supporting character's life after her family's bankruptcy. But now, the plot is still in the middle. How will things unfold from here? Huh? The bankruptcy happened earlier? Even the comments don't know? Then how am I supposed to investigate further? Still, as the person closest to me, how could Hector Song be uninvolved? If he won't let me play, I'll play anyway. It's not like these are precious photos. Why does he care so much? Hector Song wore a smile, but his words carried a sharp edge. If I catch you causing trouble again, you know what will happen. Then what if I cause trouble with you? I lifted my leg and aimed a kick at Hector's vulnerable spot. What he said just now really pissed me off. Hector skillfully caught my ankle and pulled me underneath him. Same old routine, ready to call it quits. He restrained my body. Today, I noticed traces someone else left on you. I need to inspect them. How dare you? He untied my nightgown. Meticulously, every inch of my skin was heavily traced by his fingers, moving downward. I couldn't break free, glaring at him fiercely. Hector Song, I'll kill you. Hector was a madman at heart. I went wild and bit his arm. Enduring the humiliation, the expected pain never came. I only felt a cooling sensation. He also shed his earlier roughness. Stay still. Let the medicine absorb. Seriously, All this drama just to apply ointment? I almost thought Hector was that much of a beast. Hector remembered the heiress said she was in pain and personally applied the medicine. A thread of falseness woven into genuine care. Shit, a thread of sincerity hidden in pretense. Exquisite. After finishing his inspection, Hector calmly buttoned my clothes back up. If I catch you fooling around with anyone again, it won't end so simply. You're forbidden from seeing him anymore. Oh, and that includes Julian Gu, Luna Gu, even your father, and all your relatives. You're not allowed to see any of them. Damn, why not just lock me up outright? Not even Luna Gu. Afraid I'll hurt her? TSK, how deeply devoted you are. I'm afraid you'll lose control. Not everyone can handle a mad dog like you. Call me that again? Hector's song finished, buttoning his shirt, leaned down, and cut off my words by crushing his lips against mine. When my father went bankrupt, most of his assets were seized by the government. But before that, he left some for me and my stepmother, though my stepmother's share now belongs to me as well. On the day Hector's song and I got our marriage certificate, he pinned me against the floor, ceiling window on the top floor of his office building. He kissed my ear from behind. What do you want? I'll give you anything, as long as you're willing to be my dog. A broken voice struggled to escape. I want my stepmother's small company. The company was indeed small, and due to my stepmother's poor management, it left me with a complete mess. After several rounds of drinks, the executive across the table still refused to budge. Now that Mr. Song has become a rising business star, how could he let a woman handle such social drinking? Since you call this drinking entertainment, it seems you're not sincere about cooperation. Goodbye. Sigh. It seems the deal is off. The plot hasn't even reached this point. Thinking about it pains me a little. No matter the process, the ending seems to be Hector Song and Iris Jiang tormenting each other to death. So, what's the point of her working so hard to earn money now? To die in the end? A sudden ache gripped my heart. The pain felt almost lethal. I'd always heard the rich fear death more because they can't take their wealth with them. I never realized I'd be so terrified of it. Then I should hurry and build my resources to break away from Hector Song. After all that drinking, I was exhausted. I texted Leo Lu to pick me up, but the moment I stood up, the pot-bellied middle-aged man suddenly grabbed me. You only followed Hector Song after your family went bankrupt. Looks like he doesn't protect you much anyway. Stick with me. I'll give you whatever you want. His fat hand had already moved toward my waist. I grabbed a nearby liquor bottle and smashed it hard against his head. When the glass bottle shattered, blood gushed from his head. You fucking dare hit me? I'll blacklist you in the industry immediately. I chuckled, grabbed his collar, and slapped him twice hard across the face. Even after my family's bankruptcy, I'm still standing here unscathed. You think you can touch me? So satisfying. So what if a woman works? Women have tremendous power. Our heiress Jiang truly lives up to her little madwoman reputation. That bottle smash probably gave him a concussion. By the way, Julian Gu is discussing business next door. He just stepped out to use the restroom. Seems he's still giving Luna Gu the cold shoulder. Hilarious. While the supporting characters here are fighting daily battles, those two are still stuck in their misunderstanding drama. Julian Gu is here too. I wonder if being able to see the bullet comments means this also represents some kind of awakening. I remember I used to like Julian Gu very much, but now I feel nothing for him. I left the private room. The alcohol was starting to take effect. Staggering toward the restroom, I bumped right into Julian Gu. Julian? Ingshi? Julian. I lost the partnership deal. My head is spinning. And Hector Song always bullies me at night. I'm so tired. Can you take me to your place to rest for the night? Oh, wait. I forgot Luna is home. It wouldn't be appropriate for me to go. Putting on a pitiful act, I murmured. But it hurts so much. It's really scary. Julian Gu stared at the deep red hickey on my neck, his gaze growing intense. After a long pause, he said, "Okay." A sly smile spread across my face. So this is all the male lead amounts to. Absolutely brilliant. Honestly, I'm more invested in the hate-bound couple now. Since they're already villains, I don't have moral qualms. But the male lead is kinda a people pleaser. Iris Jiang clearly still loves Julian Gu. Going to another man's house in the dead of night is something no man could tolerate. I can't wait to see Hector Song lose his mind. Hey, someone please think of our Leo Lou walking in on this scene right away. Wow, Hector Song is already on his way. I'm a freak. Hector Song, you better go all the way with Iris Jeong. Julian, I feel awful. Let's get out of here quickly. Julian Gu took me home and even fed me sobering soup. I lay on the bed, talking to myself. I wonder what Julian is doing, sleeping or working. If he's working, I wonder if I can help. Your Julian is taking a shower. Silly girl, are you going to sneak into his bed later? Come back and tell us whether the male lead or the second male lead is bigger. Hee. Having gotten the answer I wanted, I scrambled up in a flash. Hiss, I'm a little nervous now. When Julian finishes his shower, there'll be a fresh, curvaceous girl lying temptingly on his bed. This is too thrilling. The four of them were each stewing in their own frustrations, creating a chaotic mess. Everyone might as well dig in while it's hot. I tiptoed out and slipped into the study. I began rummaging through his documents. Rumor had it he was preparing for a crucial partnership. If successful, his standing in the business world would become unshakable. What if this deal fell into my hands? The comments section flooded with question marks. Turns out we're the ones with love on the brain. Has Iris Jeong lost her mind? This is Julian, the brother she adores most. Could it be she wants to defeat Julian Gu and then keep him imprisoned, all to herself? Though the idea is twisted, it doesn't seem impossible for the heiress. This is killing me with suspense. Stop messing around. It's not on the desk. It's in the secret compartment of the bookcase. The cup on the desk wasn't put back in place, and the pen isn't aligned properly. So nerve-wracking. That shot of Julian placing the documents last time was so quick. Someone go check the replay. It's in episode 22, around the 18-minute mark, the third secret compartment, second file from the bottom. I pretended to search randomly for a bit, then went straight to the spot mentioned in the comments and found it successfully. Folks, why does it feel like she can see our live comments? My heart skipped a beat. I can't let them find out so quickly. I pretended to cheer. So fast. That's so me. I'm incredibly lucky. Blind searching this quickly is indeed fortunate, but it seems Julian Gu has finished showering. I quickly unbuttoned my clothes and messed up my hair. I stumbled clumsily into Julian Gu's bedroom. I'm certain he could tell I was faking drunkenness. If I didn't do something, it would seem too suspicious. Julian was only wrapped in a towel. He steadied me. Why aren't you sleeping? I'm dizzy. Big brother, can you comfort me? Ingshi, I have things to do. You should sleep first. I planned to leave after going through the motions, but unexpectedly, someone knocked on the door. Julian, are you asleep? It's Luna Gu. Coming this late at night, she must have gotten some news. I leaned out from the bedroom and pitched my voice higher. Julian, who is it? When Luna saw me, her figure trembled. You all. I quickly pulled my collar closed, not looking the least bit apologetic. Sorry, Sister Luna, I didn't know you were here. Humph. A cold voice suddenly sounded from behind Luna Gu. I'd say you look quite comfortable, actually. Here he comes. Here he comes. The obsessive male supporting character has arrived. Hector Song wore a dark trench coat, impeccably tailored, his figure tall and long, legged. He was damp all over. It had started raining outside. Hector stood behind Luna Gu, his brow furrowed with anger. Only then did I notice Luna was drenched, now resembling a stubbornly pure white jasmine flower. Who knows how these two had gotten here? Hector, why did you come? I'm fine, really. How typical. Her words sounded so artificially sweet. I crossed my arms and leaned against the doorframe. Sister Luna, you don't look fine. Would you like to use the bathroom here to clean up? Oh, by the way, honey, do you need it too? I tilted my head and said lightly, even giving him a smile. Hector Song let out a soft scoff, glancing at his wristwatch, which triggered an instinctive tension in me, because during those nights when we were locked in confrontation, he would always tug at his tie, then leisurely remove his wristwatch. It's getting late. Save that energy for resisting me in bed later. I quite enjoy seeing you like that. His thin lips parted. his tone assertive and impossible to ignore. Iris Jong, get over here. I snapped back to reality abruptly, only to see Hector Song's eyes darken, a low pressure emanating from him as he lurked in the shadows. Hector, how can you speak to Iris like that? She's the only sister I've had since we were kids. Sister? More like a lover, I'd say. Luna, Gu took a step back, bumping into Hector, who steadied her with a considerate hand. Truly, the gentleman has feelings, but the lady remains indifferent. I shrugged. Honey, if that's what you think, there's nothing I can do about it. Before I could finish, he strode in abruptly, grabbing my wrist firmly. Come with me. It hurts. He grabbed my collar and began fastening the buttons one by one, with meticulous care. His hands were trembling with force. I knew Hector Song wanted Luna, Gu, to be happy. So now, seeing me ruin her happiness, he's this furious. How amusing. Everyone here loves so deeply. Good thing I don't love anyone. So thrilling. Seeing Hector Song's angry face made my pants drop on their own. Vote now. Is Hector Song angry because the heiress ruined the female lead's happiness? Or is it possessive rage because his wife went to another man's house? Who dares say the heiress doesn't love Hector Song at all? Her jealous expression is practically leaking through the screen. The more jealous she is, the more she provokes him. The more jealous she is, the more she feigns nonchalance. Even if this isn't love, it's explosively addictive to watch. The heiress is so adorable, sweetly calling him hubby, but her words are truly infuriating. I bet Hector Song is absolutely furious right now. Damn it, what a load of nonsense. I broke free from Hector Song's grip. You're so mean. I don't want to go with you. I want to stay with Julian. I quickly hid behind Julian Gu. A dark intensity gradually filled Hector Song's eyes. His jaw clenched so tightly that the muscles in his cheeks trembled slightly. He repeated it again. Come here. Just then, Julian Gu's competitive male instincts kicked in. He shielded me and said, Ingshi, go rest in your room first. Okay, I nodded like a little pecking bird and was about to slip away. But suddenly, the two men behind me started brawling. Hector Song threw punches that landed with brutal force, his eyes bloodshot and his entire body radiating violence. Truly fitting for a villainous second male lead. He fights like a complete madman. I let out a malicious chuckle. No wonder Luna Gu doesn't like you. Julian Gu was no better, and soon both were drawing blood. The living room was in shambles, with Luna Gu cowering in a corner, terrified. Please stop fighting. Trembling, I scurried to the wall and then dashed away in a flash. If you marry Hector Song, you'll understand the misery I endure every day. On the 5th day of running away, I still didn't dare return home. If Julian Gu found out I planned to stay at his place overnight, he'd never let me off the hook. If he caught me, I'd inevitably end up in handcuffs or tied up with ropes, his favorite little toys. Besides, from what I know, in the end, we torment each other to death. Then I'd better start preparing to flee immediately. The documents I stole from Julian Gu proved immensely helpful. I secretly handed them to my assistant, instructing her to manipulate the situation behind the scenes. Surprisingly, the brawl between Julian Gu and Hector Song even made the news. People were quick to label me a femme fatale who brought ruin. Heaven knows, I was just the spark. The real reason lies with Luna Gu. With no time to dwell on other matters, I secretly visited my dad in prison. Didn't Hector Song forbid me from seeing anyone? Well, I went anyway. Dad had lost weight. I gazed at him with tear-filled eyes. Dad, your daughter is suffering so much now. Who exactly ruined our family and drove us into bankruptcy? My father's eyes also welled up with tears. He patted my head. You've endured too much. Iris, it was Song Corp that destroyed us. I wiped my tears. Dad, isn't there a safe in our old small house? You once said it holds something that could turn our fortunes around. Please tell me where the key is. I want to rescue you. My father hesitated. Dad, just tell me, even if it's dangerous. I'm determined to save you. No offense, but why is the heiress acting so foolish now? Her father ended up in prison because of this. It can't be anything good. In the original story, Song Corp bankrupted the Jiang family much later in the plot. Was the hatred really this intense? It's been moved up so early. Daddy's girl. Your father is trying to harm you. Humph. My dad would never do that. My father gazed at me deeply, and, finally, he let out a sigh. Open the safe. Go find your uncle. Work with him to bring down Song Corp and rescue Daddy. Okay, I understand. So where's the key? I can't wait to find out. The key is at your mother's gravesite. Late at night, I drove to the cemetery. Oh my God, the heiress is truly insane, going to the cemetery in the middle of the night just for a key. The hateful always have their pitiable side. Iris Jong's mother died, giving birth to her. She's never once seen her mother, though the author only glossed over it. It was truly a childhood spent without a mother. The heiress is also foolish. No matter how much your dad loves you, he still married a stepmother. Besides, what decent person hides a safe key in a cemetery? Just thinking about it gives me the creeps. I gazed at the cemetery and said calmly, "It's just here to retrieve a key." What's so creepy? The barrage froze for a second, then suddenly started scrolling rapidly. She can see what we're saying? I ignored the exploding barrage, bent down, and wiped the tombstone with my hand. Long time no see. Dear mother. After getting the key, I leisurely drove the car. Suddenly, I felt someone following me. It's Hector Song. It's been over a week without any action. Can I see some meat today? Hector Song is really going to explode. You must dominate the heiress when you catch her this time. No, you all need to restrain yourselves. Iris Jong can see our barrage, so I'll ask directly. The heiress. Are we having me tonight? Wait, the heiress. Why are you accelerating? You can speed up when you're with a crazy male supporting character, but there's no need to speed up your own car. Hector Song was chasing closely behind me, refusing to let go. No way. Is this man willing to risk his life just to catch me? Maybe it's because the speed is too fast. Or maybe he's too excited. For a moment, my vision was filled with unfamiliar bloody scenes, and my heart ached with a strangely exhilarating pain. I slammed the accelerator to the floor. I felt like the wheels were about to spark from friction. Shit, there are cars blocking the heiress's only escape route ahead. No wonder there are so few cars on this road. Hector Song is really pulling out all the stops to catch her. Wait, those aren't Hector's men. That looks like Uncle. I just caught a glimpse of his face on the camera. That makes sense. If Iris Jong went to visit her father, Uncle must have found out. Damn, trapped between a tiger and a wolf. The heiress isn't getting away this time. Wonder who she'll end up leaving with. Is there even a question? Definitely Uncle. She trusts her father so much, even though I don't think he's a good guy. Holy shit. Wait, look, I still haven't seen Uncle's car. Maybe there's still time. What's in that safe that makes him so desperate to meet me? I slammed on the brakes, the tires screeching loudly against the pavement, tearing through the quiet night sky. I quickly turned the car around, but the high-speed vehicle couldn't slow down immediately. The headlights of Hector Song's car ahead blinded me momentarily. I slammed on the brakes. As the car decelerated sharply, I saw Hector clearly, his thin lips pressed tight, his gaze fixed intensely on me, until the two cars collided. The impact threw us against our seatbelts, then back into our seats. So thrilling. My heart raced just watching them speed like that. Oh my God. I'm so excited I'm lactating. Bow bow and mau mau. I want to see you two in the car. Hee. Doesn't anyone find this dynamic irresistible? Even if the heiress plans to team up with her uncle to ruin Hector Song, when both men cornered her, she turned without hesitation. It's like saying I choose you, but I'll drag us both down together. Love and destruction. Perfection. Hector Song got out of his car, yanked my door open, and pulled me out. If you've got a death wish, come back with me. Tonight, I'll make sure you die by my hand. Oh, shouldn't you be comforting the heartbroken Luna Gu right now? Hector's Song didn't respond, instead hoisting me over his shoulder and giving my backside a slap. I'm here to keep you company until the day you die. He tossed me into the back seat and sped off. I kicked off my high heels. Got condoms in this car. Hector slammed the brakes, his grip tightening on the steering wheel. Veins bulged on the back of his hands, the muscles along his jaw twitching with intensity. I dreaded how heavy those hands would feel when they eventually gripped me. The car halted in the backyard. and Hector stepped out to yank open the door. I'd been dozing in the back seat, but now I saw him kneeling on the seat, leaning down to gather me up. His suit jacket gaped open, revealing a glimpse of what lay beneath as he bent forward. I pressed a foot against his chest, then slipped it inside his jacket. I was wearing a wine, red dress, and Hector's eyes darkened. He lowered his head to kiss my calf, then began trailing upward. Has anyone else touched you these past few days? Let me check. Hector Song's tone was vicious. Get away from me. I hate when he acts like he controls everything. Hector Song tied me up with his tie. Iris Jiang. Was Julian Gu's bed comfortable? Do I need to tie you up and watch you every moment so you won't go see any of them? They're all bad people. He rubbed my head roughly. Iris Jiang, you're not allowed to go near any of them. I found it ridiculous, so I turned my head and bit his finger hard. You won't let me see my father because you hate his condescending attitude, how he looked down on you before. So what? His daughter is now crushed into a worthless mess by me, and I'm thrilled about it. Hector Song's sweat dripped onto my collarbone, scalding hot. You won't let me find Julian Gu because you know I like him. Even if you don't like me, you still consider me your possession. Hector Song gripped my chin. He savagely kissed my lips. Iris Jiang, Iris, my Iris, you are mine. Desire burned in Hector Song's eyes, threatening to consume me entirely. I slapped him across the face. What madness is this? You forbid me from approaching Luna Gu. Isn't that because you love her? Men are truly despicable, always wavering and wanting everything at once. As I spoke, fury overwhelmed me. I lifted my leg to kick Hector Song's vital spot. He caught my ankle in a firm grip. Iris, don't repeat the same tricks. My patience wears thin. That sharp edge of yours needs smoothing. Why hide it again? Hasn't he tempered me enough? Every day feels like a battle. Yet Hector's raw intensity is undeniable. He admits his vileness. His possessiveness explodes when I mention others. There must be some love beneath it all. This was his first time calling me Iris. Damn, his gaze was so profound. If only I could step into that scene and play my part. Seriously, don't just blurt out to brush me off. Drooling, at least let me hear something. I heard the untouchable loves to talk dirty during these moments. A wolf in sheep's clothing, saving his worst side for the heiress, since they're both cut from the same cloth. He doesn't hold back at all. Perhaps it was because we hadn't seen each other for many days, but this was truly not a pleasant experience. The battered version of me holed up at home to work. My meeting with Uncle didn't happen until half a month later. I looked at the gentle and refined man before me and handed him a document. Uncle, I'll cut to the chase. This contains the contact information for key positions at Songcorp. You can use it. Uncle smiled slightly. Iris, you should know I'm not interested in these things, right? I took a sip of coffee. Uncle, don't be in a hurry. I waved the USB drive in my hand. Help me break away from Songcorp and rescue my father first. Whatever you want, I'll give it all to you. Iris Jiang, are you out of your mind? You're really going to betray your husband? This is bad. I have a feeling things are about to derail. Hector Song will probably hold another grudge. And if he targets the company he worked so hard to build, I dread to imagine what he'll do to Iris Jiang. Please don't tell me we're actually heading toward the final plotline. Don't die on me. Who's going to act out the rest of the story if you're gone? Am I the only one curious about what's on the flash drive? What could possibly rival Songcorp's confidential data? I blinked slyly. Uncle, do you still remember my mother? The man across from me paused, his fingers stilling briefly before he regained his composure. Of course I remember. Such a pity about your mother, gone far too soon. Yes, I stir my coffee absently. When there's a chance, I'll take you to see her. After Mom passed away, Dad restricted access to her gravesite. No one else is allowed to visit. All right, the plot is getting more and more convoluted. What was just a passing mention in the original story has spiraled into so many developments. I'm starting to feel like these characters are real people. It wasn't long before Uncle made his move. Hector Song managed well at first, engaging in daily battles with me, but later he often returned late at night while my company was thriving. I glanced at the room where we often fought. It had been empty for many days. I have to admit, I felt a bit lonely, so I decided to take employees from a small entertainment company on a trip. Hector was overwhelmed with his own problems, let alone coming to catch me. When I returned, he was going through his most difficult time. I was leisurely taking a bath when I suddenly spotted one of my own underwear hanging on the balcony. Strange. Hadn't I thrown it in the laundry basket, only to find it missing later? Finally discovered, during your absence, Hector was so lonely that he used it, and he even washed it after use. It's practically worn smooth. He used it every day. Eris, please show him some affection. These days he works frankly during daytime and returns to an empty home. Are you sure Hector won't go crazy upon seeing Iris Jiang? All this happened because of her. Better run quickly. I'm not running away. When Hector's song returned, his usually sharp features showed signs of fatigue, with strands of hair drooping over his forehead. He took a quick shower and headed straight to the bedroom, but it was the room we usually shared. Sure enough, that delicate lingerie on the balcony had vanished again. After waiting about half an hour, I pushed the door open and entered. Well, another censored scene. Shouldn't we at least witness the plot? Driving moments, even if just through sound. Hector was desperately mauling my delicate lingerie in self-abandonment. Is my clothing working well for you? I suddenly spoke up. Hector immediately froze. He opened his misty eyes, a flicker of shock passing through them. His voice was unbearably deep, his throat tightening momentarily. I've soiled your clothes. Sorry. He straightened the garment. It's fine. I smirked maliciously. With your company in such a state, I can afford to cut you some slack. Hector suddenly grabbed my shoulders. So it was you after all. Do you hate me this much? Hector Song's eyes glistened with a faint red. Of course. His grip on my hand tightened. I winced in pain, broke free, and slapped him. In your current state, you're not worthy of challenging me. Hector Song stared at me, then suddenly laughed. He gently cupped my hand and pressed it against his cheek. Iris Jiang, you changed your perfume? Oh. During the team building, a sweet little starlet kept clinging to me. So this is how a Yandere goes crazy. You slap him, and he smells your perfume before feeling the pain. But how could a fragrant slap be painful? It's pure ecstasy. Now, his expression resembled that of the once unattainable, impoverished untouchable. Eyes reddened, tinged with humiliation, hatred, and pity, evoking a desire to dominate. A gloomy, unhinged puppy is simply divine. The contrast is insane. Those who don't get Hector Song are missing out. So noisy. Looks like I'll have to blur this out. My hand pressed against the half of Hector Song's face that still bore the palm print. I whispered softly, "Does it hurt? Beg me, and I'll let you go." Woof. With that single bark, I knew he had returned to the impoverished puppy he once was. Neil, compared to before, Hector Song had changed somewhat. For instance, he felt less humiliation now, even seemed somewhat addicted. His skills had refined, and he'd grown a bit wicked. But the good thing was, he had become obedient again. Before my uncle came to see me again, I made public the contents of the USB drive. It contained the entire network of my father's and his gray industry chain. In a moment of desperation, my father had shielded Uncle to keep a chance for a comeback someday. Now that I released all the evidence, coupled with the heavy blows he already suffered from his business war with Hector Song, he, like my father, would never rise again. Hector Song's company gradually regained its strength. However, once someone tastes sweetness, they tend to get carried away. He was becoming disobedient again. The female lead still needs more training to tame the dog. The push and pull between them is thrilling, but some minor mishaps still occurred. As the assistant turned the car, a speeding vehicle came rushing toward them. Behind the windshield was Uncle's menacing face, glaringly clear. Before the assistant could react, Hector Song's car brushed past and cut off Uncle's vehicle. The collision was quite severe, but thankfully no one was seriously hurt. Hector Song only suffered a minor fracture in his arm. Uncle, however, fared worse. He crashed into a roadside utility pole, shattering the windshield and breaking one of his legs. He passed out from the pain on the spot. When he woke again, he wasn't in a hospital at all. On an empty shooting range, Uncle slowly came to in a wheelchair, a target positioned behind him. I fiddled with a dart in my hand, lifting my gaze lightly to look at him. Uncle was terrified, but he was tied to the wheelchair. Hector Song stood by my side, his arm wrapped in a bandage. He handed me the darts, and I threw them. The darts flew through the vast shooting range, soaring into the distant unknown. They then landed around Uncle's head, above it, beside his ears, and near his neck, outlining the shape of his skull. Uncle was unharmed, but he was scared out of his wits. Iris Jiang. Iris, I'm your father. How could you do this to me? Iris. Hearing this, I burst into wild laughter. Picking up the last dart, I aimed at his lower body. I put all my strength into the throw. Uncle screamed in agony and then passed out. What? Dad. Father. I see now. Uncle had an affair with Iris's mother. It seems the heiress is taking revenge. The original author wrote this plotline too vaguely. Who knew there were so many hidden twists? It seems even the one in prison was insincere. Iris Jiang should stop saving him. Wait, looking at these dart throws, Iris clearly knows how to play. She was faking it before, and in the replay, when she threw at the photo with her father, the dart hit right where his heart would be. You won't believe it. Hector Song instinctively clamped his legs together beside me, totally triggered. LOL. I splashed a basin of water to wake up Uncle. He started cursing at me furiously. I tightened my grip around his neck. So what? Was my mother willing when you touched her? Wouldn't it have been better if you just lurked in the shadows with your pathetic crush? Why did you have to hurt her? Iris. Iris. You never even met your mother. While I watched you grow up since childhood, how could you treat me like this? Not only will I treat you like this, I'll kill you. Iris Jiang. Iris, wake up. Hector Song pried at my hands, trembling with rage. I sank my teeth into his hand. He grunted softly, but let me keep biting. It took a long time before I finally calmed down. I often wonder if Hector Song actually likes me, but he's always opposing me. After his company recovered, his attitude toward me became even more intense than before, but it's kinda thrilling. I get so mad my heart races, whole body tingling with this electric rush. And in bed, it's pure bliss, both physically and emotionally. I once held a tie to his neck and demanded, "You don't like me, do you?" Hector Song would always scoff, as if I'd asked the most ridiculous question. What? Does the heiress have a crush on me? He whispered a dirty remark in my ear. Enough. My pride won't allow it. I slapped him hard, watching him sniff my hand like a pervert. I must be insane to find even this side of him somewhat endearing. Exhausted, I fell asleep on the bed. I overlooked that this was the first time we'd slept peacefully side by side. Naturally, I didn't know that after I fell asleep, Hector Song left a kiss on my forehead, a silent record of this unspeakable moment. October 8th, prison visit. I went to see my father, who looked even more haggard. He grabbed my hand and asked about the progress. I shook off his grip, covering my face. Dad, Uncle is dead. My father valued sibling bonds deeply. He collapsed to the floor. How? How could this happen, Dad? He hurt Mom. My father's face instantly turned pale. From my mother's diary, I learned what happened back then. My father adored her, but Uncle also had feelings for her and forced himself on her. When Mom tried to break up, Dad went mad and imprisoned her. It wasn't until I was born that Dad came to his senses. The pure white jasmine had long been tainted, and in a fit of rage, he strangled Mom, but he regretted it instantly. He resented me, yet saw me as Mom's only legacy. So he raised me, molding me into an arrogant and domineering person. Then he tried to coax me into an arranged marriage with an old man. Iris, quickly save Dad. Help him restore our family business. Let Dad protect you. I wiped away non-existent tears and laughed aloud. But Dad, I don't need any of it, because the bankruptcy was my doing. Holy crap. No wonder Iris Jiang wasn't afraid to marry Hector Song. She really had an ace up her sleeve. That's truly impressive. Not only did she get revenge, but she also used the bankruptcy to legitimize the industrial chain and then smoothly inherited everything herself. Moreover, It feels like there's even some chemistry in her marriage with Hector Song, whereas in the original story, it was pure hatred, sparked entirely by that damned father of his. So, I'm curious how Iris Jiang managed to react this way. It's completely different from the original plot. That day was the anniversary of my mother's death, and for once, my father actually let me go pay my respects. It happened to be raining, with thunder rumbling ominously. The sky was as dark as night, and I was trembling with fear. I came back with a fever and had a dream. This dream was even more detailed than the original story described in the comments. In that story, I also ended up seducing Hector Song out of desperation, but my father still married me off to an older man. The older man tormented me daily until Hector Song bankrupted my family, kidnapped me, and repaid me double for everything I had done to him. The story ended with the older man taking us all down together in a mutual destruction. To change that ending, I started plotting from that very moment. But coincidentally, this dream occurred after I had hooked up with Hector Song. By then, I was already involved with him. October 1831st, visiting an old friend. Julian Gu's company was in complete chaos, partly due to the missed collaboration and Hector's business warfare. His company was already a tangled mess. When I ran into him, he was drinking. Julian, don't blame me. I poured a glass of wine. As childhood sweethearts, you had already uncovered my father's plans. Yet not only did you fail to warn me, you even advised him. For instance, suggesting that the then impoverished Hector Song seduce me because he always ranked first in exams, and you knew my flawed character would want to drag him down from his pedestal. Or how you initially pursued Luna, Gu, just to compete with Hector, never expecting to genuinely fall for her later. So, Iris Jiang knew everything all along, only we were kept in the dark. The male lead's halo shattered completely. Good thing I was betting on the pure hatred CP back then. Unexpectedly, it turned out quite addictive. I stared blankly at this comment. Good as ship? Stop spacing out. That idiot Gu is about to hug you. Live update. Hector Song is 100 meters away. Hector Song's perspective. Since childhood, I've known myself to be gloomy, insecure, two-faced, and harboring ridiculous resentment toward the wealthy. I was intensely insecure, yet desperately craving a sliver of sunlight. This went on for a very, very long time, until I met her. It was hardly a good beginning. She was arrogant, domineering, had the temper of a spoiled heiress, and was rich, a particularly detestable person. After several more encounters, I found myself disliking her even more. What truly made me hate her was when she got my poverty subsidy revoked. But that money was meant to save my grandmother's life. Grandma's illness required vast sums of money. That small subsidy was already insufficient. Why did she have to do this? Her father approached me, offering money to seduce her and then brutally dump her. What a devoted father indeed. But realizing this only excited me. The first time was far from pleasant. I knelt on the ground like a dog to serve her. Resentful and heavy-handed, I went too rough. She slapped me across the face. What an intoxicating perfume. When it was over, I dragged myself, exhausted, to the hospital, only to be told my grandmother's medical fees had already been paid. On the very day, I lost my poverty assistance. Why did she actually marry that old man? Did her deadbeat father force her? It took me 2 years to bankrupt him, and 2 years of being the other man. Damn it, my already wretched life gained another stain on the record. She despised me because every time I went at her relentlessly, now she's the one serving me. But before we could hate each other enough, that old man dragged us both to our deaths. I've been reborn, back to that first night between us. The same humiliation, yet somehow I'm enjoying it. Whatever, I'll walk this path again. But when her father tried to marry her off once more, I lost it and bankrupted him ahead of schedule. Now it's over. The heiress hates me all over again. It's fine, just stay by my side. Later, I confessed my feelings, and she called me crazy, but still slept in my arms that night. I thought good days had finally come, but we died again. Right after I forced her to confess to me in the car, another vehicle crashed into us. I revived once more, Still on that same night, I indulged myself completely this time, learning from past lessons. I confessed early to enjoy life sooner, not knowing when death might come. At first, she still called me insane, but eventually she'd just collapse in my arms, too exhausted to protest. This lifetime, she was truly happy, but died even earlier. One morning, while holding hands grocery shopping, an earthquake suddenly struck. God damn it. Can't you just let people live? While fading unconscious, I vaguely heard someone say, strange. This program follows the original plot, yet the hate-bound couple storyline keeps deviating. Why must you two always fall in love? Wouldn't pure hatred suffice? Reboot. I don't want to die. I haven't given her enough love yet. So this time, let's not talk about love. I can only act, loving you secretly from the shadows. How fortunate that this time I can love you for a very, very long time. What a pity that in this lifetime, you no longer love me. It feels like everything has reached its final conclusion. Julian Gu and Luna. Gu got married in a rather perfunctory manner. I originally wanted to write the endings of Uncle and my wretched father in Mom's diary to give her some satisfaction, but I found it too unlucky, so I'll write about myself instead. Dear Mom, it's been a long time. I'm married now, but unfortunately, there's no love. Not only is there no love, but there's also a great deal of hatred. Sigh. Truthfully, I don't even know how things came to this. But now, I realize that he and I actually get along quite well. After all, he's wealthy, handsome, has a great figure, and has saved me twice. I don't know if this counts as liking someone, but with my personality, I could never confess. Wait, no, he's so awful. How could I possibly like him? Ugh, scratch that. Fine, maybe it's not impossible, unless he makes the first move. But sometimes his behavior is just baffling. Does he purely hate me? Or is it love? Hate, I don't understand. But that day, when I fell asleep in his arms for the first time, I think he secretly kissed me. Mom, that's love, right? Because I felt happiness.